welcome back to another episode of Geeking Analysis. This week it's Christmas, so to acknowledge the holiday, we'll be exploring Doctor Who's very own superhero, the Ghost, in the first Christmas-related analysis. Enjoy! The Ghost, aka Grant, is the only known superhero to exist in the universe, born by accident. Grant was a child when he first gained his powers and met a man called the Doctor, who he dubbed as Dr. Mysterio. The name Dr. Mysterio was inspired from Grant's love of the superheroes and the comic books they accompany. A favourite of his was Superman, who Grant's own powers were based on. It was Christmas Eve when Grant met the Doctor, who he mistook for Santa Claus. Upon correction, Grant was taken to see the Doctor's time distortion equalizer thingy, which was made with the intention of fixing the paradoxes he caused a few years back when he lost Amy and Rory to the Weeping Angels. Its power source was the Hazandra, a red gemstone forged at the heart of a red hole. It took power from the nearest star and granted the desires of its owner. The Doctor handed it to Grant as well as a glass of water, which the Doctor hid away in his pocket. Grant mistook the gem for medicine, believing it to be the Doctor's answer to curing Grant's winter cold. Instead, it bonded with Grant's DNA and gave Grant what he always wanted, to be a superhero. These powers stayed with him for life, leading Grant to use them to fight crime as the Ghost. His powers were Superman-esque, and as follows. Easily his most defining ability, flight, as it would suggest, allowed Grant to fly. Mind blown. In all seriousness, though, Grant was capable of both flight and levitation. This ability appeared to have no limits. He could fly in both air and space with no limits to his potential speed. He could also carry someone during flight without being slowed or succumbing to gravity, which had no effect on him. Grant's super strength was another of his notable powers. It allowed him to lift people of all sizes as well as objects, many of which regular people couldn't, with ease. He was able to do this with his dominant and non-dominant hand. One such object included the Harmony Shoal spaceship, which was plummeting onto Manhattan at terminal speed, with solely his right hand, which was his non-dominant hand. Grant had hearing beyond that of any normal human. He was able to hear the weakest of sounds at ease, as well as pick up frequencies greater than that of any normal human, which allowed the Doctor to contact Grant without the worry of anyone eavesdropping in the long-distance conversations. To finish off the Super Trilogy, Grant could travel at high speeds, accelerating to his top speed in a matter of mere seconds. He could change out from a regular civilian to the Ghost, and vice versa, quicker than you could snap your fingers. While the Doctor was present in his life, Grant displayed this multiple times, as well as the powers listed above and below. One of the Ghost's most interesting abilities was pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis is the ability to control fire, which Grant could. He was able to light a candle, or any fire in general, simply by snapping his fingers. Snapping his fingers could also shatter glass, including glass made to withstand the blasts of 4 nuclear explosions. It could also be implied that he could withstand the effects of fire due to his pyrokinesis, as he saved people from a burning apartment complex without a scratch on him. More an ability than a superpower, Grant was bullet resistant. Like Superman, Grant could walk through a spray of bullets without them piercing him. Instead, the bullets would be squashed down on impact. Grant could at least withstand pistol bullets. To accompany his power set, Grant had X-ray vision. As the name would suggest, Grant was able to see through objects and find any organic thing, such as people and animals. This was a problem during puberty, as he was unable to control his X-ray vision and would see any person he looked at to be naked. The same problem arose with his flight, which would become unstable when he began to panic or became embarrassed, making his teen years awfully difficult to get through. As an adult, Grant began to lead a double life as both a nanny and a superhero. He sported a black superhero costume, which included a mask and cape, as well as a G sent in the chest. It was backed by a black irregular Hendecagon. While being a nanny, Grant took care of Jennifer Fletcher, the daughter of Grant's love interest Lucy, and was equipped with a baby monitor while crime fighting. Lucy was a journalist working for the Daily Chronicle, a popular New York paper. She was investigating the Harmony Shoal Institute, a multinational organization that was secretly acting as the forefront for Harmony Shoal's plot to extract the brains of world leaders. The institute had offices in cities across the world, including New York, Washington, D.C., and Tokyo. The institute was also being investigated by the Doctor and Nardole at the same time, which is where the Doctor and Nardole met Lucy and the trio came face to face with the ghost. Major conflict brewed with Grant. He was sucked into a love triangle featuring Lucy, himself, and his alter ego. Grant, as his alter ego, agreed to do an interview hosted by Lucy over dinner. The ghost intended to reveal his identity here. This sort of happened, but by accident, as the two were interrupted by Dr. Sim and Mr. Brock, both of whom were under the influence of the shoal. She discovered his identity after he stopped a plummeting spaceship, which the Doctor and Nardole were aboard. Lucy was quick to accept Grant's double life, as shocked as she was, and with the collapse of Harmony Shoal and Unit taking over the complexes, the two became a couple, and Grant retired from being a superhero for a while in order to focus on starting a family with Lucy. For the penultimate time this year, we've reached the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, make sure to like and share the video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss a video. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter, with the links to both being in the description like usual. However, that's up to you. I'll see you next week, and until then, bye!